Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into the core ethical principles in research. These principles aren't just boxes to tick off on a form, they're the very foundation upon which responsible research is built. We're talking about the guiding stars that keep us from veering off into the murky and potentially harmful territory of unethical research practices. Because, let's be real, the pursuit of knowledge should never come at the cost of human well-being. That's why we have these principles, to light the way to ensure that in our quest for knowledge we don't end up doing more harm than good. Over the next few minutes we're going to break down these principles, exploring what they mean, why they matter, and how they play out in the real world of research. So, let's start with the cornerstone of it all, respect for persons. This principle is all about recognizing the inherent value and dignity of every single person participating in research. It's about treating them not as just subjects or data points, but as autonomous individuals capable of making their own choices. See, when we're talking about research, we're often talking about situations where there's a power imbalance. You've got the researchers with their fancy degrees and clipboards, and then you've got the participants who might be in a vulnerable position. Respect for persons means acknowledging that power imbalance and actively working to level the playing field. It means ensuring that participants are fully informed about the research, understand the risks and benefits, and are free to make their own decisions about whether or not to participate without feeling pressured or coerced. And that brings us to a crucial aspect of respect for persons, protecting those with diminished autonomy. This could include children, people with intellectual disabilities, or individuals in situations of duress or coercion. Respect for persons is the foundation upon which all other ethical principles are built. Okay, so we've talked about respecting people's autonomy, but what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it all boils down to one crucial element: informed consent. Imagine you're at a restaurant and the waiter just brings you a plate of food without telling you what it is, how much it costs, or if you're allergic to any of the ingredients. That's kind of what it's like to participate in research without informed consent. You're essentially in the dark, making a decision without all the necessary information. Informed consent is the ethical compass that guides researchers to treat participants not as passive subjects, but as active partners in the research process. It's about empowering them to make informed decisions about their own bodies and minds. Before someone agrees to participate in a study, researchers have an ethical obligation to lay it all out on the table. What is the purpose of this research? What are the procedures involved? What are the potential risks and benefits? Forget the jargon-filled scientific papers. Informed consent documents need to be written in plain language that anyone can understand. Throughout the study, researchers need to keep participants in the loop, answer their questions, and address any concerns they might have. No pressure, just information and respect. That's the essence of informed consent. Now, when we talk about ethical research, we can't forget about those who need an extra layer of protection: vulnerable populations. We're talking about individuals who might be more susceptible to coercion, exploitation, or harm in a research setting. This could include children, pregnant women, prisoners, people with mental illnesses, or those from marginalized communities. Think about it. Children, with their trusting nature and developing cognitive abilities, might not fully grasp the implications of research participation. Prisoners, eager for any chance to improve their conditions, might feel pressured to participate even if they have reservations. That's why researchers have an even greater responsibility to safeguard the well-being of these populations. It's about going above and beyond to ensure their safety, their autonomy, and their right to informed consent. This might involve seeking consent from legal guardians or representatives, adapting study materials to be more accessible, or providing additional support and resources throughout the research process. Protecting vulnerable populations isn't just about adhering to ethical guidelines. It's about upholding the fundamental human rights and dignity of those who need it most. All right, let's talk about beneficence, which is a fancy way of saying that researchers have an ethical obligation to do good. It's like the Hippocratic oath of research. First, do no harm. But beneficence goes beyond just avoiding harm. It's about actively striving to maximize benefits for participants and society as a whole. Think of it like this. If research is a recipe, beneficence is making sure the end result is something that nourishes and benefits those who partake in it. It's about carefully considering the potential benefits of the research question. Will this study lead to new treatments, improve existing therapies, or enhance our understanding of a particular phenomenon? Now, here's the catch. Maximizing benefits often requires walking a tightrope. Sometimes there's a risk of harm in order to potentially achieve a greater good. It's about constantly evaluating the risk-benefit ratio, ensuring that the potential benefits are significant enough to justify any potential harm. Beneficence is all about being intentional, thoughtful, and always striving to do right by the participants and society as a whole. Now let's talk about non-maleficence, which is like the wise older sibling of beneficence. If beneficence is about actively doing good, non-maleficence is about the equally important principle of not doing harm. It's about approaching research with a sense of caution, recognizing that even with the best of intentions, things can go wrong. Think of it like this. Imagine you're a doctor and you're about to perform a new surgical procedure. You've done your research, you've practiced in the lab, and you're confident in your abilities, but you also know that every surgery carries risks, and you're acutely aware of the potential for complications. That's non-maleficence in action, the constant awareness of potential harm and the commitment to minimizing it at every turn. It's about anticipating potential risks, both physical and psychological, and taking steps to mitigate them. This might involve carefully screening participants to exclude those who might be particularly vulnerable, providing ongoing monitoring and support, or having a plan in place to address any adverse events that might occur. Non-maleficence is the ethical compass that keeps researchers grounded, reminding us that the pursuit of knowledge should never come at the cost of human suffering. All right, let's talk about justice, because ethical research isn't just about treating individuals right, it's also about ensuring fairness and equity on a broader societal level. It's about recognizing that historical injustices and systemic biases can seep into research, leading to disparities in who benefits from scientific advancements and who bears the burdens of research participation. Think about it. For far too long, marginalized communities have been excluded from research, their voices unheard, their experiences overlooked. This not only perpetuates health disparities, but also limits the generalizability of research findings. Justice demands that we address these imbalances, ensuring that the benefits and burdens of research are distributed fairly across all segments of society. This means actively recruiting participants from diverse backgrounds, ensuring research questions are relevant to the needs of all communities, and considering the cultural context that might influence participation and interpretation of findings. Justice is about leveling the playing field, ensuring that everyone has an equal opportunity to benefit from scientific advancements and that no one is unfairly burdened by the risks of research participation. It's about creating a more just and equitable system of scientific inquiry that benefits all members of society. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on ethical research practices. See you next time. Remember, ethical research isn't just about following rules, it's about approaching scientific inquiry with a deep sense of responsibility, integrity, and respect for all involved. It's about recognizing that behind every data point, every statistic, there's a human story, and it's our duty as researchers to ensure those stories are treated with the dignity and care they deserve.